Welcome to my YouTube. Subscribe. So, I just got back from home time. I restocked on groceries and was able to wash all my clothes and bought a new jacket for the weather that's coming. Also bought some long sleeve shirts. So, I'm good. So after I did that, I went to Houston to pick up my next load, and it's delivering to Laredo at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, I'm under a load now. Anyway, as I was saying before, so around the time I quit Warner, I think COVID had hit like 2 months before that. So COVID was going around as well. And so I didn't have a job whenever I got home. I had dropped my truck off in Laredo and just got a ride home around that time. And so when I got home, I didn't have a job. I had maybe 2 checks saved, I want to say. So it wasn't gonna last me much. So I had to think of something fast. The least I could do was make my car payment, in advance. So that covered me for a month. That was a stupid thing. I pulled out a car while I was gone all the time. And so I did all that. Yeah. Anyway, I was looking around town. Nobody was hiring at the time, and the only ones that were hiring were Domino's. So, take what you can get for right now. So that's what I did, and everything went smooth. I applied as a delivery driver. So, and eventually, I think within like 2 or 3 days, I was already answering phones, taking people's orders. There's been a few times where people caught me for a loop, like they ordered something and then they want something off of it, and then they add another item. So it was a little hectic, especially during rush hours. And there was an incident at the time where this lady ordered a really big order, and then I repeated it back to her, and she threw this attitude, and I wanted to hang up, from being realistic, because she was catching attitude. And at the end, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm new, oh, welcome to Domino's, or what she specifically said. So it was stupid then. Anyway, my checks were like $200, but I was working off tips as well. And so when I did that, when I added up all my tips throughout the weeks and the checks, it was like 500. The basic was 500, but really I was like 700 on good days, on good weeks, my bad, good weeks. So I still wasn't making it. So I had started doing Uber and Lyft at the time. And then finally, Ready Eyes had a sign on the outside saying hiring. So I got online that next day on the weekend when I was off, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna apply. And so I applied, and I get a call that Monday, and the guy was like, "Hey, I need you to go up there and talk to so and so, and you're scheduled for a interview at this time. So just show up there." And that's what I did. So I'm still working at Domino's. I haven't quit yet. So I go up there, and I talk to the boss. Well, my interview is more of him just talking about the company, talking about what I was gonna be doing, how on days when there's no really deliveries, you just clean around the shop and get your hours in. And there's a bunch of overtime on summer, and winter it slows up. Different customers. You got retail and you got plants. Yeah. So I ended up getting that job, and I was still working at Domino's. Well, around that time, it started to be winter. So it had slowed up on the ice business. So I was still working Domino's, thankfully, and yeah. There was a few incidences with the ice company. So one incident, we were working late one day, and my boss had asked us to go out to Seadrift and come back, take care of a customer out there, and it was already like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So my coworker, there was a small fit, saying he ain't going, and as I'm walking out, I could already hear that argument going down. So it's like, cool. So I did that, and there was another incident where the customer didn't want ice thrown on the side of the machine. She didn't want our trash in her trash can. She didn't want us parking a certain way. This customer was nitpicking, really. I told my coworker, don't throw the ice on the ground. He still does it because it's ice, it's gonna melt. I'm like, okay, whatever, Well, I told him as he was throwing it on the ground, like, don't do that, and still was on the ground. Some lady walked outside throwing a hissy fit. You can't be throwing your ice on the ground. So she rakes it up, puts it in a bag, and throws it to the ground at me. I looked at that, and I looked at her, and I said, I don't work for you. And then she got really upset I said that, and walked inside and told her manager about it. So I'm like, well, I don't work for you. What are you gonna do? You can't fire me. Poor choice of words. I think she ended up calling the boss, and the boss, I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna come at me like this. And like, it escalated this situation even more. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll just take, I'll take the ice to the bin, go on from there, and I did. And so I went to the truck. My coworker goes inside, grabs the ticket, comes out. He said, He said, sorry for getting you in trouble. He said, I told the lady it was really my fault. You had told me and I didn't listen. So I did that. And some days were hectic with ice. You had to go out to the plant and then you had to run a retail route, or you had to do retail and go out to the plant, vice versa. I mean, they had 2 trucks, so I was taking care of like certain stops on Tuesday and Wednesdays. No, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we had a route Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We had a regular retail route. So at a Dollar General, the pallet jack got off the sidewalk and into the grass. So that was hell. And it had rained that day, or it rained the night before, so it was real muddy and it was horrible. I got it off the. I went back far, and I ended up, because I was trying to turn it, and when I was turning it, the wheels went off the sidewalk on the on the back end, and my coworker, and it was horrible. So my coworker gets it onto the grass even further, and we couldn't get it out. My boss had to come with the truck and pull it with a chain to get it onto the sidewalk. Shit happens. And so there's that incident. There was a customer who was expecting us to give credit because he had 2 machines and it was messing up his light bill. And it's like, you're the one with the machines, bro. Like, you don't want to pay for electricity. You know, we could take the machine back. Well, I need it. Well, okay. We acted like we were giving him credit, but we really weren't. And there was another one where the machine caught fire. So, my boss goes out there, fixes the machine, and I'm doing a route. And as soon as he gets done, I got word to say, hey, come fill up their ice machine. So I go out there, so as I'm leaving, my coworker said, don't forget the fire extinguisher. And my boss said, no shit. So, I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, I had to go out there, fill the ice machine late in the day. Yeah. There's the same customer with the ice on the floor problem. I had to go out there twice in one day. Well, it's not that I had to. It's that one of their ice machines was down because people kept opening and closing their door, and so none of the ice was freezing because it was letting all the cold air out. So I went out there. I filled up 2 different customers. One's across the street over there, and so I did their ice machine, and then I continued the route. So as I'm heading back to the warehouse, I get a call, hey, come refill this ice machine. He said, I know you don't want to, but I'm asking you. It's overtime. If you can. I said, okay, cool, you know. So I did that. And not that I wanted to. I mean, those people absolutely suck. And so, yeah, I did that. And then they never rotated their ice. So these are the same people. They never rotated their ice from one machine to another, but they always kept the one in the back filled. And like we're throwing ice. We're not rotating it. We're not doing anything. Whatever you did with the machine is whatever you wanted it to do. So we would throw ice on top of that and fill the ones in the front. And they would always get mad because the ice started to get like flaky almost. I don't know, it wasn't just regular ice cubes anymore. It was surrounded by like white, like, you know how ice gets after it sits for a while. So they would get mad about that. So, yeah. And then, like, they wouldn't even run out of ice half the time. You'd get there, they still had a quarter of a box. And, yeah. One day I'm traveling out there to go give them their ice, and I'm halfway through and I get a call, hey, are you there yet? No, why? Oh, these people are complaining about them running out of ice already. So, I said, yeah, I'm on my way. It's not a problem. I'll take care of it as soon as I get there. Okay. And then we had gotten bought out one day with B&B Ice out of Port Arthur. So that happened. I'm still working at Domino's. So that happened, and no, actually, I quit Domino's around around 2 months into Ready Ice. So, you know, I was working for Ready Ice, and then B&B bought out Ready Ice. So they came in with 2 new trucks, three new pallet jacks, 3 new dollies, so you could dolly through the stores and everything. And so yeah, when they came in, they had 2 different printers and 2 different phones. I already got my phone, so we had 3 phones to carry throughout the entire day and 2 printers. Anyway, everything continued as it was. There was an incident where my coworker lost a piece to one of his printers, so it wasn't working. He called the boss, and the boss was like, "What do you mean it's not working on your Bluetooth?" And he said, "Yeah, but it's not printing." Well, turns out he had lost a piece. So my boss had to drive out there to get a new printer to him so he could print. And their main thing was trying to do water at the same time, so we would deliver water and ice. The there was one incident where my coworker lost track, or my coworker lost track of counting ice while he was throwing it into the ice cooler, and so the customer had called on him, or he tried to de-escalate it to where, like, okay, I'm sorry, well, if you say it is what you wanted, what you counted, well, then we'll just put that. And so he threw a fit, called my boss, and he said, I'm gonna start counting every time y'all guys come in, and he didn't put up with it. So my boss had to go talk to the customer and de-escalate that. It was a mess. And then one day my boss got, my manager ended up getting let go. So that happened. Oh, you know what? I caught COVID a month before all that happened. COVID sucked. I was on a deathbed. I was throwing up. I was sweating. I had body aches. I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks. It was horrible. Anyway, so my boss ended up, like, further down the line, my boss ended up getting let go. And so, yeah, it was all because, it was a stupid reason. And then a few weeks go down, and then I'm let go. Who's gonna help the other guy? He's just gonna be there by himself. And at this point, I was tired of it because they had taken one of the new trucks, the 10 pallet trucks, and gave us the 6 pallet trucks with no AC, no lift gate, no nothing. So I had to put a dolly up on top and bring it down and toss ice to it all day long. And at that point, I was fed up with it because it was a lot labor than just having a lift gate and a pallet jack. So it is what it is. During that time, I got COVID. The boss was calling me, the president. He was calling me and asking me questions about how I'm doing. He wanted me to get better. He wanted me there at work. And 3 days into answering his calls, I finally just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And he didn't take kindly to that. So, like, well, I'm on my deathbed. I don't want to listen to a person that's not a doctor, So, I did that. It was stupid, but it is what it is. And then, I find around November or December of that year, I finally ended up being let go. But I didn't care too much. At this point, I was tired of the BS they were pulling and everything. So, at that time, I was referred to the beer company. I'll talk about that in my next video. But I went through a lot with those ice companies. I ended up trading my car in for a Corolla. So, around that time. So, I did that. I mean, it is what it is. still bunkering at my aunt's house. Couldn't make it. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. See you in the next one.